This is Yuki, an abominable, loathsome, revolting, ugly, and repugnant eldritch horror from the depths of the Andromeda Galaxy, morphing itself into the body of a human woman to act as humanity's savior. While she hasn't revealed her true form yet, she has tried again and again to spread her influence onto humanity. For instance, she had tried to mind control Geto to become a pawn for her world domination, whispering lies such as promises of power, money, and girls. Luckily for humanity, Geto had turned a new leaf and was also gay, so her words had no effect on his strong spirit. Unfortunately for humanity, she had warped Todo into a menace who would spread her deceitful message whilst also leading him down a life of crime. She competes with the other special grade malefactors such as Gojo in order to rise the ranks of becoming one of the most notorious evils in this world. One day, as the beacon of humanity Kenjaku was prepared to fight off the forces of tyranny, Yuki suddenly intervened with his plans, preventing Yuji from facing his righteous punishment. Instead, this blonde demon decided that she would side with the worst of humanity, putting aside her desires to conquer the planet for now. Will Kenjaku save everybody from this cosmic horror? Megumi Zenin was the son of the most caring, active, nurturing, and supportive parent Toji. He was being raised to be just as righteous and valiant as his father when suddenly, Gojo the butcher appeared to kidnap him and corrupt him. After days of constant torture both physically and mentally, the once innocent child was warped into something far, far worse. He continued assisting these rapscallions one day until he re-encountered his now brainwashed father in Shibuya. Since Toji's care for his son was so strong, he managed to break free from the mind control for a brief period of time and was devastated at how evil his offspring had become. He decided that the only way to get to Megumi was through a light sparring session, but Megumi tried countering this with his dastardly rabbits, and I honestly don't even know why he decided to use that useless shit out of everything against somebody like Toji, to be frank. Not long after, Toji had realized that his son was beyond saving by his own volition and was also a terrible fighter, so he decided to kill himself out of sheer shame. Soon, when Megumi summoned the good-hearted Maharaga against the Harvard prospect Haruta, he was slammed to the wall as righteous punishment, but suddenly the kindest of history helped save him. Will Sukuna ever manage to purify this lost soul? Nobara is an evil cult boogie woman with ugly-ass hair who participates in voodoo magic frequently. She often calls upon her demon lords Yaldabaoth and Nyarlathotep to grant her mystical powers that she uses to beat on innocent civilians. She often is in cahoots with villains such as Yuji and Megumi due to her contract of needing at least one person to help her complete her daily blood sacrifices. For example, Choso's brothers Jack and Tom were the unfortunate victims of this dastardly woman as they were brutally slaughtered and used as sacrificial lambs to appease her so-called gods. As they were dying, she spoke out loud, "My gods, if you can hear me, I bring you 2 fresh plates of flesh for you to dine on. Feast, my lords, for their blood is plentiful and filling." One day, during the Shibuya massacre, she encountered the giver of life and merriment Mahito and tried to recruit the young soul into the cult she was in, but this was all aroused to secretly lure him in to be a blood sacrifice as well. Sensing the danger, Mahito of course ran from this suspicious woman, where she chased him for hours on end. She had also told Yuji about her plans, and so he was also in on the pursuit, still wanting to coat his fists in red. Mahito, being left with no other choice, called upon the savior Kenjaku to grant him the will to purify these lost souls, with Nobara ending up being purified, hopefully at least. Yuji Itadori is one of the most disgusting humans to ever roam the planet and should be dealt with at all costs. He has committed so many crimes over the past years that I can't even say all of them, but a couple of these include kidnapping, robbery, destruction of private and public property, extortion, torturing, first, second, third, and fourth-degree manslaughter, arson, both illegal immigration and immigration, vandalism, domestic abuse, grand larceny, counterfeiting, possessing a dangerous weapon, hate crimes, fraud, tax evasion, drug possession, terrorism, road rage, identity theft, prank calls, money laundering, inside trading, assault and battery, cannibalism, blackmail, jury tampering, being stupid, assisted murder, child abuse, organized crime, genocide, mutiny, trespassing, driving without a license, pretending to be a dementia-ridden grandfather's grandson for free money, bomb threats, failure to obey police officers, shoplifting, punching old people for fun, kicking dogs and puppies for fun, and jaywalking. All of this in mind, one can't even label him as a human anymore. He's lost any semblance of hope to potentially reform him and needs to be sent to the death penalty, and then sentenced to over 10,000 years of imprisonment in the afterlife. Maki is the most worthless and useless Zenin to ever be born into the Valiant clan. The gods above saw her soul even before she was born as so morally corrupt, that they decided the best way to push her onto the right path was to take away all her cursed energy so she could do no harm. Unfortunately, this didn't stop Maki, who was instinctively drawn to killing innocent spirits. Later on, she also decided to fight her equally as useless sister Mai, who could barely utilize her own ability and used it in the lamest fucking way possible. Mai had the ability to create literally anything, but she made up the fact that it costed a lot of cursed energy just so she could stay a lazy bum and not utilize her technique to the fullest. Along with this, Maki cut off her ties to her kind family, who had always provided the most for her since she was a child, never abusing her verbally, mentally, or physically. Later on in Shibuya, she supplied the brainwashed Toji with a weapon to help kill the marine biologist Dagon, but after this heinous murder the kind-hearted Jogo decided to warm her up a little bit. Unfortunately, however, she survived this. Miwa was the most cruel and conniving master manipulator of the modern age, second to Gojo the Butcher. She was the mastermind behind some of the most terrible events to happen over the past years, such as numerous wars, increase in global pollution, and making One Punch Man Season 3. She often would be in the shadows during her plans, letting other members of her Kyoto Mafia such as Mekimara deal with all the busy work. One day, after Mekimara's purification against the gracious Mahito, he had sent a voice message to Miwa informing her of the situation. Because she was so devastated that her underling was a useless piece of shit, she started bawling her eyes out, not out of sadness but out of disappointment. Since she also forgot to take her medication for her bipolar disorder, she also began seeing Mekimara's ghost in the window. Just look at that inverted umbrella-ass haircut. Whoever barber this guy got needs to be executed, I can't even lie. She later on appeared to assassinate the benevolent, nonchalant, intelligent, super buff, and really funny Kenjaku. But due to him being such a nice guy, he only decided to take away her sword, which was filled to the brim with 1,000 souls of the dead. She then called in her fellow Kyoto delinquents, but of course they were useless as hell as well. Will Kenjaku manage to show her the error of her ways? This is Todo, a perverted menace to society who ate his twin brother Todo in the womb before his birth. He was a normal kid until one day the cosmic horror Yuki kidnapped him and brainwashed him. He trained in the depths of Alcatraz where he profusely studied the dark arts to become an evil sorcerer. When he was let out, the innocent demeanor he would put on display for the world was no longer recognizable. Later on during the cruelness competition between the Kyoto Mafia and the Tokyo Villain League where they competed to see who could kick the most babies and kill the most innocent spirits, Todo met the evil monster Yuji. Since these two had such a strong bond by their immoral natures, they instantly connected with one another as the same. Oh my god dude, these Kyoto Neanderthals are actually the most pathetic and useless ingrates I have ever seen in all my years of living. I mean, for Christ's sake, have you guys ever seen a group of people more damn worthless than this? Genuinely, they could disappear off the face of this planet and not one single soul on this floating rock would care one bit if that happened. That's just how irrelevant and useless they are. Anyways. Later on during Shibuya, he would help Yuji beat up the 3-year-old Mahito ruthlessly, even though Mahito tried to help him with his gooning addiction by removing his hand. How much longer will this injustice last? Yuta is a truly evil bastard who deserves nothing but the purest form of suffering. He may have been innocent once before, but everything changed when he manipulated his childhood friend, Rika, into getting run over by a car just so he could use her spirit as a weapon against kind souls like Geto. He managed to entrap her spirit within a ring when he visited the 6th layer of hell to complete a ritual that required the sacrifice of 10 small puppies and a village worth of people. He obviously gave these sacrifices without second thought, and matter of fact, just look at how this stupid-ass bum is fighting with this useless Zen and Maki. No form, no technique, he should just roll over and die. Just looking at this stupid SOC of a character fills my blood with rage like no other, and to top it off he blackmailed this kind innocent citizen by the name of Miguel to bring him to Africa so he could colonize and pillage more villages to empower his corrupted spirit. Later on, after Gojo the Butcher's imprisonment, he and the monster Yuji had a small disagreement on what to do about their leader's conundrum. Yuji wanted to loot and kill as many people possible in order to surpass Gojo's legacy, whilst Yuta wanted to help get Gojo out of jail so that they could resume their villainous organization. Justice is no longer an option for these two, we need to stop them at all costs. Hakari is an underground criminal ringleader who always managed his own money very well. He never gambled anything, always being financially stable with his quote-unquote fair earnings. He and his friend Kiara, who have a platonic relationship with no romantic interest in one another whatsoever, were kicked out of Gojo the Butcher's organization for actually being too financially well off, and being offended by the mere thought that one of his minions could be independent from his power, Gojo decided to cut them off. Later on, Yuji Itadori, otherwise known as Yuji the Monster, the Fist of Tyranny, and the Cannibal of Shibuya, encountered some of Hakari's gang members and beat them ruthlessly in order to obtain the location of their boss. He soon approached Hakari, where they had a calm conversation about why Hakari should rejoin the ranks of the Tokyo Villain League. Think about the control we'd have over the world if you rejoined and helped us get Gojo back, Hakari. But Hakari simply responded, me and my good buddy Kiara were kicked. What makes you think I want to work along with a competitor? Also, I want to emphasize this again, Kiara and Hakari are platonic friends and nothing more. They are just really good pals, chums, amigos. Eventually, however, Yuji managed to convince Hakari to temporarily form an alliance. Please Kenjaku, save us all.